I'm Bill Winslow here with the Coldwell Banker and the Winslow Group with the owner, Michael Seitz, here at the Thatch House in Charlevoix. So Michael, I've seen thatch roof homes before in my hometown in Carmel. This one is very unique, very different. Tell me about it.
Okay, so this is why I love thatch, and I used it in a different way. As you say, it's normally straight, there are dormer features and that. But I wanted to essentially have this stone structure and then have the roof flow over with these eaves that flow down, and everything's like a wave. There are no sharp edges. In fact, the entire perimeter of the house, it flows around the house, and the supporting wood structure had to follow that. So I came up with this design. How do you support a roof like this and have these overhangs? So if we go in under the roof, you'll be able to see the lattice work and everything that really makes it an engineering structure. Yeah. But allows you to just drape the roof over this house. So the whole roof, it was near a year's work. And just the framing of it, that was 6 months of timber work. I've kind of been creative since I was a kid, right? I could just imagine things and go about building them. And my engineering degree really gives me the tools that stuff I imagine that is, hard to build, I can figure out how to do it on a granular level. The exterior thematic, which is the stone and the heavy timbers and the thatch roof, that's from my background out of South Africa. The interior is really from the European medieval period, where the large beams, the thick timbers, the stone accents, the flooring, that really inspired me. I love to try and create something that's new, but makes you feel as though you're stepping into the past. Having the materials selected and finished in a way that would be of that past period, where there were hand tools used and things weren't precision, finished and things like that. I love Charlevoix. Actually, for slightly different reasons than normally. The summers are fabulous. It's just beautiful here in the summer, but I personally love the winters. So you can imagine this thatch house when the snow's falling and you're looking out these windows, you've got these big fireplaces, it's cozy inside, and then everything blankets in snow, and so you've got the shape of the roof covered in the white. You want to be indoors. I love the winters here in Charlevoix. So the seasonality, there's a lot of trees around, again, when the colors change, all these contrasts. So this house was Earl Young's first home. He was in his 20s. You can't really put a house like this in a location that isn't surrounded by similar type of architecture. And Earl Young was the architect, from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, that built a similar style of house. So this house just fits naturally into this town. But now to recreate my look of stonework inside, we actually found a ton of rock buried around this property, because when the masons build, they have a lot of broken rock that they don't use, and they're just buried in the sand. So when we dug around there, we found all these pieces which are now embedded strategically in the walls. I can see, like at the staircase, that the stones need to be, I call it the waterfall staircase effect, that you can take these rocks and you pack them in as though you've taken part of nature and incorporated into the house. What would an old kitchen look like? If you go into the old medieval plans, you look at the kitchens, thick wood, it's usually twisted and cracked and gnarled, and you can see where people have been chopping. I wanted to bring that whole feeling in. So found a guy out of Mansalona and got him to go and cut me thick from pine, almost beams for countertops and that, of trees that had fallen down. Because the key thing about a tree that's fallen down and been lying there for a year or two, the wood starts getting a color. Blues start coming out, so it's the barnwood blue that I love so much on the kitchen cabinets that were specially made for this house. So they're custom made to look like barnwood. They're modern, beautiful cabinets. But then to overlay them with this thick wood that has all those colors, the oranges, the the blues that just fade, that's like a natural paint structure. But then let it dry and start twisting and cracking, and to bring that authentic old look. It was important that the floors, which are obviously a fundamental feature of any house, especially an older house, there's certain things, if you really look at an old floor, that are important. First of all, the floor needs to be damaged, because floors get beaten up, they get walked on and everything. And things like the gaps in the floor boards, right? You need to create a gap. These are underfloor heat, there's underfloor heating. This is a modern floor. There's a proper sub base, everything's super modern. But then on top of it is the white pine, which is just rough cut, then burnt. That means you have to sandpaper it. The burning gets rid of all the little, pieces of wood that would get stuck in your feet. So it becomes soapy smooth, and the color. And then to seal it and distress it a little bit and nail it in place. And we nailed it in place. We screwed it, of course, that's the stability, but then even put big cut nails on to make it look like it's an old nailed in floor with the gaps. It means the floor now looks authentic. And then I spent a lot of time on the directionality of the floor. So for instance, from the front door, the direction of the floorboards leads you to the main staircase, into the house. So these are small details that I just love getting involved in. But every feature of this house has a thought behind it. So what's interesting and even for me still today, is walking into this home. You can take any aspect of the home, whether it be the windows, the front door, the floor, looking up at the beam. There is something magical that the house keeps giving. You can zoom in with a microscope, you can zoom out and go, oh my goodness, I get a feeling, I get an effect. It's unique. There is nothing like this. This isn't a little bit of a copy paste from another design. This flowed organically. This house came together as an original. There is nothing here where I was trying to bring an idea from another house I'd seen or something into this house. This is all authentically put together as a unique design.